So today I am talking about ending your week. Now in my last session I talked about starting your week, and I talked about different things that I do to start my week off, and I said my week starts on a Sunday. Now that doesn't mean that I do loads of work on a Sunday. What I do on a Sunday is I get ready for the next week ahead, and I found that to be an absolute key strategy for me to achieve what I want to get done. Now, if you haven't watched that video, please watch that video, and I'll supply a link so the video you can watch that. And then what you can do is you watch this video now and watch that one later, and you'll see how it all comes into full circle and how it all works together. So in my system that I've set up for myself last week, I talked about strategy number 1, which was reviewing my week. And that is part of what I do to prepare for the next week. So I'm going to focus on that aspect for this session. And there's a couple of stages to it. So firstly, so you've got it in your head, the stages. I've got stage A, we're going to call it, and that's called the journaling stage. A is the journaling stage. B is the planning stage. And then C is the celebration. So C is very easy to remember, isn't it? C for celebration. So 3 stages. A, we have the journaling stage, and B is the planning stage, and C is the celebration stage. Now, what I do then, I pick a time in my day on a Sunday to do these things. And it usually takes now about half an hour, 40 minutes to go through. But it saves so much time and makes me feel so much better and prepared, ready for the next week. And then I may do a little bit of work that I have to do. And then I have the rest of the Sunday to do what I want to do and do other things on a Sunday. But this is why the week starts on a Sunday and sort of comes full circle. So this is what I do in my weekly sort of review, and I actually call it my weekend meeting with myself, or my week meeting with myself. And I put it in my diary, actually put it in my schedule, because we know what gets scheduled gets done. And I put an hour away. Now, sometimes I might do in the morning, in the afternoon, or sometimes I may do it in the evening. So when I'm doing my weekly habit, it's become this habit and routine, I actually do some practical things. So one of the things I do, before I sort of start, I tidy up my computer desktop. I put the things that are on the desktop into files, I label them and put them into folders. I also, while I'm going through this, update my computers, so my laptop and my computer at home, my iPad and my iPhone. So I just go into the settings and just press update to update the things it needs to do. And then always my computer is up to date. After that, I do a virus scan and I don't know, the other types of scans. I've got a program that does it. And if people want to know, give me a direct message. I'll tell you about the one I use, but I'm not sponsored by any programs, but it's just one that I use. We should press a button and it gets it done. After I've done my scan and that, I back up my hard drive and I simply put in a disk and, like a little USB stick. Well, it's not a stick, it's a hard drive, and my computer backs it up. And then I also back up to the cloud, and I back up my iPhone and my iPad to the cloud. And then I polish my desk. So I've not even talked anything about the ABC, have I yet, in my review? What I've talked about is simply just some routine things that I do in the week on a Friday, just to close the week down. Now, what this does is really interesting. Psychologically, it sends a message to your wonderful, brilliant brain that it's time to close the week. And it's time to say, right, a fond farewell. And I think it's really cool. I think that's really a good way to do it. And when you polish your desk, and we talk about polishing our desks, some of us talk about that, is it adds a sensory aspect to it. So, that cleanliness, the smell of the polish, all those senses, it really does send an anchor to your head and to your brain to say that you're closing down. So then what do I do with regard to my A, the journal bit? And as I said, once you've got this in your head and you've got the procedure, you might want to write a checklist on this or something. It really is so easy to do. So I pull out my little black journal, little paper journal, and I have 2 pages, and that's all I have. I don't write any more than 2 pages, and these are the 5 things I write about. Number 1, I write a quick paragraph of the week in review. What happened, when, where, and with who. Just so I remember what happened, in that week, if I went on a lovely walk or visited a museum, or I, had dinner with a friend, or something that really struck me that week. Just a quick paragraph. Then number 2, I ask myself the question, what am I grateful for? And write 4 or 5 things that I'm grateful for. And that really gets your mind going. And great people talk about being grateful all the time. Question number 3, I ask myself is what went well this week? So a quick paragraph to celebrate what went well. And then question number 4 is what didn't go well? Okay, what didn't go well? So 3 and 4 actually, what went well, what didn't go well? And then number 5 is what did I learn and what will I do differently? Now each of those are a quick paragraph. They're not pages and pages and pages, and they're written in pen. And very simply, I review the week, and I've got those journals now going back years, and the fantastic review. So very quickly, the journal process A is week in review, what happened, who, why, where, when, and all that. What am I grateful for? What went well? Pick a few things to remind yourself. What didn't go well? And what am I going to do differently? Okay, and that's it. Now, very quickly, I just want to talk about some things that don't go well and what you can do to change that. So if you had something go on in the week with a person, someone else, and it didn't go well, you said the wrong thing, you did the wrong thing, you didn't do something, the quickest way to resolve that is now, in this week. Don't let it bumble on. Don't let it go along, and be a grudge for years and years and years. Put it to bed now. And the best way to solve that is quite simply say, I am sorry. I am sorry, and apologize. Now they may turn around and say, well, don't worry about it. Okay, that's fine. You put it to bed. You've done it. You've got rid of that out of your system. What if a project doesn't go well? What if something that you wanted to do, you didn't get so much done? Well, okay, in the next step of planning, prioritize that. Prioritize to get it done. Same like if you didn't, you didn't put your health first. Sorry, excuse me, if you didn't put one of your fundamentals first. The trick to that is prioritize it next week and get it back in the system. What would happen if you didn't feel yourself last week? It wasn't your week, or you just didn't have that feeling of being, uplifted, or you lived in the moment, or you didn't live to your best potential. Well, again, reaffirm to yourself who you are, what your vision is, what you want to get out next week, and put it to bed. And for me, the what didn't go well and the question, what did I learn and what I do differently, is the most important question. And this is where in part B, which is the planning aspect of the what I do to close my week, you can add actions, and I mean actions or tasks, into your schedule to alleviate some of the things that didn't go so well. So what do I do in planning in part B? Well, I say to myself, what 5 things do I want to achieve this week? 5 tasks, not unclear, not unspecific or non-specific. Not sure what the word is there, but clearly what I want to achieve. So if one of your objectives for your period of time is you want to, go to the gym and work out for half an hour, then that 3 things to achieve are: go to the gym 3 times this week. Finish report on sales. Declutter back bedroom. Can you see what I'm doing here? 5 defined things. Not declutter house, because the house is too big to declutter. Not write sales report, sell 15 items, look at this and look at the return on that. No, write report. Okay, and you might even want to break that down, write draft report. So 5 things, so list 5 things in the planning process what you want to achieve this week. Then this is where you get your schedule out for the week. And you make sure you schedule those activities into your diary. Now, I know some things in your diary might be unremovable, like meetings or, your day's work or some things you just can't move. And that's fine, but make sure you schedule those 5 things around them. Okay? So that's what I do for starting my planning is 5 things into the diary. I also look at my goals and what I call my fundamentals. Mind, body, spirit, emotions, relationships, and then I have 3 goals and no more that I'm currently working on in the period of time. Okay? And what I do then is I schedule tasks for those into my diary, into my schedule. So if I want to extend my mind and read a particular book, I'm going to schedule half an hour 3 times a week into my schedule. Now, some people say to me, yeah, but people read my schedule and I don't want them to see all this. Well, that's fine. Just set up a private diary. You can do that in Google. You can do that in Hotmail. You can do it in the other systems that are available. You can do it on paper. You don't have to show people, do you? You don't have to show people these things. The message here is, though, schedule those fundamentals in. So what are you going to do to invest time in your mind, body, spirit, your emotions? And when I talk about emotions, by the way, I'm talking about your well-being. I'm talking about how you feel about yourself. What are you investing in your own emotions and your positive emotions? And your relationships is about other people. I suppose you could say your emotions are about the relationship with yourself. And then if you are goal-orientated, like I am, I work on 3 goals in a period of every 3 months, then schedule in the tasks for those. Again, the key here is to schedule the task of what you're actually going to do. The next thing I consider in my diary is when I'm going to spend time for me, when I'm going to have some time out, and pop that in the diary as well. When I'm going to schedule some focus time, and then when I'm going to schedule some stuff time. Now, I'm going to give a quick example. We haven't got time to go through all those, but me time is basically me having time for me, going for a walk. It could be you're going to combine one of your other things that you're putting in, your focus on your body to improve and put time into your body and put investment into your body and get the return on that. That might be a walk every lunchtime. Pop that in your diary. That's me time. Focus time is time when, for example, you want to do all your emails at once. Now, I do my emails in the morning. It's after I have sort of done my first bit, just look at my schedule and remind myself what I'm doing for the day and various things like that. I block at all my emails and just go through and clear them through. I'm not a box 0 person. I think I like the idea, but I'm not actually quite. It'll take up too much for me to get into box 0, and that's that thing where you have nothing in your inbox. I'm not quite sure I'm ready for that yet, but we'll see. So what I do is I put that focus, and I call that stuff time or focus time. And then focus time is when you really are, blocking yourself time, maybe 2 hours to do something key that you don't want to be disturbed. If you think about focus time as being, that's a time when you're going to absolutely focus on one thing and get that thing done well, and you don't want any disruptions, are they in your diary? And then the last thing I do as part of planning is I sit back, look at the week, see if there's any sort of issues that have popped up or any challenges that there may be with my time or what I'm planning. And then I visualize my perfect week. Close my eyes, take a big deep breath, think about all the things that I want to achieve and how I'm going to do them, and just literally walk through the week and feel the positive feelings. So that's what I do with planning. So I'm going to run through that very quickly. So planning how I end my week is I ask myself, what are the 5 things I want to achieve? I pop in my fundamentals and my goals and tasks into my diary. Tasks to achieve, I call them. Tasks to achieve. Number 3, I work that around my my not movable actions, my meetings and that type of stuff. Also, that's quite good actually, because sometimes you can look at meetings and say, actually, I don't need that meeting, and change it and take it out. And then number 4, I schedule or make sure that I have me focus time in the week and stuff time, and then I sit back and visualize. Now, I know there's lots of stuff here, and I will go through very quickly at the end, but that's A done. So A is review, B is plan, and the last one is C, celebrate. So I asked myself, when I've done that, I've looked at last week, I'm looking at this week, and I say, right, that's something to celebrate. Something to celebrate there. And you might even, if you're doing it on a pad and piece of paper, just get a little highlight, right, and just pick 3 things that you're going to celebrate, and wow, look what I've achieved this week. Even if you haven't achieved, or you feel you haven't achieved much, at least you've recognized that and you've set the intention for this week to improve on that, or to add to that. And then ask yourself how you're going to put the joy and how you're going to put the fun into it. How can you make some of the things fun? If you know you're going to have to declutter the back bedroom, what music are you going to listen to as you're doing it? Are you going to have a lovely cup of coffee as you're doing it? Are you going to play some music? Are you going to have a cheeky beer maybe while you're doing it? How are you going to enjoy it? How are you going to enjoy reading that works manual that you want to read? How are you going to enjoy it? And when's the best time to do it? So C is about celebrating and adding the joy, because you have to put fun, you have to put joy, you have to put enjoyment, you have to put fulfillment into that diary. And this is where that schedule and that planning lifts off the page and becomes life. It doesn't just become planning, because we can all plan, but if we don't do, it doesn't happen. So I'll say that again. We can all plan, but if we don't do, it doesn't happen. So it's all in the doing. And what we know, don't we? What gets scheduled gets done. You keep hearing it. You keep hearing it here. You keep hearing it in the wider groups. You keep hearing it on the YouTube. What gets scheduled gets done. And what gets rewarded / celebrated gets repeated. What gets rewarded / celebrated gets repeated. So look at your review. Look at your schedule for next week and celebrate all the things that you have done and that you are going to do. And as I said at the start, that bit of, tidying your desk and adding to the senses and making it real and adding the emotion to make the motion happen, that's crucial. The C part, the celebrate, the inject the joy, the love, and all those positive words. There's a lot there, but I'm going to review it very quickly. So the end of the week, it's all about the A, B, and C, okay? And you tidy down your desk and you do some things, to make sure your week's automated. You back up your computers, you do that sort of thing, and you polish your desk. Then you go into the A, B, and C. A is your journal. Asking yourself the week in review very quickly, 1 paragraph. What am I grateful for? What went well? What didn't go well? What am I going to do differently? Write them down in your journal. That is review done. B is your planning. Planning. What 5 things am I going to achieve this week? How am I going to schedule my fundamentals and the important stuff, the big rocks, into my diary and my scheduling system? Put them around the unmovable and ask yourself the question, can some of the unmovable be moved or shortened, like meetings? Number 4 is schedule me time, focus time, and stuff time. And number 5 is sit back and visualize the week. Physically walk it through in your head. And then the C part is celebrate. Review what you've done, review what you're looking forward to, and celebrate. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. What gets celebrated gets repeated. Okay? What gets celebrated gets repeated. What gets scheduled gets done. That's the week in review. Now what you need is to watch week in reviews and how to start the week now on a Sunday. So you've got these 2 videos that you can watch over and over again and get all the information there. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Don't forget, it's time to review the week, your A, your B, and your C, but most of all, celebrate it and how wonderful you are.